everybody wants to build a chest, especially if you're a man and you're lifting weights. Well, do you know that the way you're lifting weights is the reason why you're probably not building a chest? Well, if you didn't know, I'm here to explain it to you. It's your personal trainer, Savar Matner. Today, I'm gonna pump you up like Arnold, but not necessarily because Arnold was taking steroids back then. But we all know Arnold had a magnificent chest. It was by far his strongest feature on the bodybuilding stage. But do you know that the way that you are lifting and the way that you are training is probably the reason why you're not building a chest? Let me explain. When you go to the gym and you sit down and you pick a chest exercise, are you performing the exercise to standard, or are you ego lifting and compromising your form in order to move the weight? Yes, you can load a machine up and not be sitting properly and try to ego lift and barely contract the fucking weight. I have seen it on fly machines. I have seen it on press machines where guys are load like five fucking 45-pound plates and try to push the plate and it's not doing anything. They're moving about this much and their chest never grows. Or they get on the bench press and they load up with 225 and then unrack and come down and come back right here and then go back up, right? They're not doing anything. The chest isn't activating. Okay. The first thing I want you to understand is going to the gym. You go there with the understanding that you're trying to build up a physique. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to get stronger, but you're going for a good reason, right? That's the first thing I want you guys to understand. The second thing you guys need to understand is when you go to the gym, you have to understand that you build muscle outside of the gym. You are tearing muscle tissue at the gym. And the third most important thing is the sets and reps matter. Okay, they matter, but I'm gonna save that for a separate video because I'm gonna talk about rep ranges here in that video. Warming up too much can cause you not to lift enough weight to do enough damage to the chest. I have seen guys, this one guy go to the gym and he has weighted bands and he stretches it and he does front back stretch. Well, all you gotta do is just move your arm through a range of motion just to get the blood flowing to the muscles in the area. Or I like to go to the fly machine, right? And load it up with like 40 pounds, right? And I make sure my arms is not this high. I bring them down a little bit low because I want to activate the fucking fibers. And then I come in, right? Just working. And you can see the chest flex. You can see it flex, right? You can see it. And I know on this side it might look a little weird. There we go. Because I'm dealing with an actual injury. I'm gonna talk about that here in a second. So you can actually see that slumpiness. I'm gonna share what's going on in a second. So anyway, with that being said, you want to just get blood up in the chest. You want to get blood around the shoulder joints. And then you go to if you're doing a hammer press machine, you're gonna press. If you're doing a bench press, you're gonna bench press. Whatever you're gonna do, that's what the fuck you're gonna do. Okay. You do a warm up set. I mainly do the bar after I do some warm up on the fly machine. I do the bar. I do 2 sets on the fly machine with 40 pounds. Then I do 1 set with just an empty bar. And I do it for like 10 reps. And then I put on 135. And then I do it for like 6 reps. And then I jump up to like 160 and I do it for like 3 or 4 reps. Then I jump up to 185, roughly my body weight, and I do it for a set of 3. And I'm seeing how fast that bar is moving. And then depending on how fast that bar is moving, I may do one more set at 185. If it's moving fast enough, I go up to 200. If I start to notice the bar's not moving as fast as I wanted to, I then temper back my expectations on my workload for that day. If I feel like I can't get 225 for a set of 5, I'm gonna probably do 205 for 3 sets of 5 to 10 reps for that workout that day. And when I do my workout on the bench press or any machine, I slow down the eccentric as slow as I can. Not too slow, but slow enough to where I'm feeling the stretch. Okay, I want to feel that stretch. I pause for about 2 to 3 seconds and I return it slowly. I don't try to do this number here. I want to bring it down. Control lifting. Why is that? I am trying my hardest to keep as much tension on the chest as I possibly can. So if I'm going down, no point intended, coming up, I'm not even locking out my elbows. Notice it's a slight bend in my elbows. I'm not doing this here. I'm keeping a slight bend right up to the point to where it's lockout, but not locking it out, right up to the point. And I'm reversing the motion. I'm doing it. It looks just like that there from the side. Okay. Why is that? Of course, my shoulders be retracted while I'm doing that movement. But why can't you see that? Because I want to keep the chest under tension. The moment I lock out, I take all the tension off of the fucking chest. You don't want that. You want to come down. You want them fibers to work. You want them stretching. That's the most important thing. That's where the micro tears happen. I do my working set and then I drop it down. If I'm doing 205 that day, I go down to like 175, right? And I try to do 2 sets of 10 reps. Try to. If I can't get to 10, but I still do my 2 sets anyway, I just try to do as many as possible. Then I do one more drop set down to roughly about 135, 140, and I go as many reps as possible. And I'm done doing a compound lift. If I'm doing the hammer press machine, same thing. Whether it's incline, the decline, it doesn't matter. Depending on what I'm doing, I still do drop sets. It's about time under tension. I don't care if it's a cable machine. I don't care if it's a sit down cable machine where you push out in front. Hammer machine where I like doing incline hammers. So I'm sitting down and I'm pushing up like this here. I don't care. Or where it actually be up like this. And you can see how the fibers on the inside starts, right? So up like this, down, up. And notice I'm not going all the way out. I'm stopping about right here. Return, and I like to pause about here. I try not to let the machine touch, and then I go right back up. Boom, right? Boom, right? Boom. It's just like that. It's just that easy, guys. Then you end it with a fly session, whether it be with the dumbbell. If it's dumbbells, there's no tension up here. Tension starts about right here, go down as far as you can to about right here, right? And then you come right back up, return the range of motion. That's how I do my flies. I like doing machine flies. I like that tension on the cable. I do like four to 5 sets of flies. Don't go that heavy because I'm already gonna exert the muscle. Now, if I want to deplete the muscle so I gotta go heavy on the bench or on the machine, then I go as heavy as possible on the flies. But that's a different conversation because, like I say, it's all about time and attention with the muscle. And then you can do push-ups to end the session. That's it. And do that twice a week. Do do that twice a week. That half rep and shit. I don't care if it's incline, decline, flat bench, incline hammer press machine, decline hammer press machine, regular hammer pressing, regular fly machine, cable fly, cable press. It's the time under tension that matters. Lower the weight so you can pause it for a second. No more than 3 seconds, but if you can pause it for a second, that's good. Focus on doing that, and you'll get a chest, but not like Arnold, because genetics dictate that chest. My chest started growing when I decided to cut back on how often I was training the chest and how heavy I was going on the chest. Because your tendons and ligaments need longer to recover than the actual muscle. So you can easily overwork your tendons and ligaments because the bone, the joint, constantly working the shoulder joint, right? You have ligaments and tendons that connect muscle to bone, that is tendon, and ligament is connecting bone to bone. So when you're constantly doing this here, yes, the muscle, you have more muscle fibers up to the point of the insertion, right? Well, they're going to be stronger, but that wear and tear on that ligament and tendon, it's going to take time to recover. So that's why you don't want to do it too often. That's one. 2 or 3 times a week is more than enough. I was doing it 4 to 5 times a week, just fucking killing my fucking self, literally, just doing too much. You grow when you rest and eat. Okay, not just constantly going and inflaming the area, because inflammation is not conducive for growth if the inflammation never ceases to go down. When things inflame, that begins the healing process from the immune system. The immune system sent out cells to deal with that, to deal with the inflammation. That's why too much inflammation can cause you to get sick. Okay, so you don't want to be constantly inflamed. That's one. Two, as you lose weight and you build muscle and the range of motion gets different, you'll find yourself getting weaker, right? I always tell people to take, if you see you're constantly sore, to take at least a week off or so, deload. But they say, well, you get weaker when you deload. No, that's not what happens. What happens is this: the inflammation goes down, the range of motion gets longer, and you find yourself weaker because you're not as strong as you were when you was inflamed and sore. Same would come off of creatine. You drop all that creatine water, you lose a little bit of strength because you're fuller. The range of motion is different, right? So when you take a week, 2, 3, or even up to a month off, and everything heals up, neurologically you're gonna be stronger. You're gonna be stronger in the muscle tissue. You might even gain a tenth or 2 tenths, or maybe a half a pound of muscle, depending on how you're doing, on while you're resting. But the range of motion is gonna be different. So if that 225 is that much more, on the range you got to go now, you're not that stronger down that bottom range no more because you didn't ever lift that lift in that range. That much can cause you not to get a lift, believe it or not, because it's a farther. You're not strong enough down there yet. So when you come off deload, you ease back into it. That's why you ease back into it, because you have to build up that range of motion. Got to get stronger all the way down and up. Now it's a new range of motion, and you have to build up the strength in that hole. Okay, so taking time off is good for growth as well. So train the chest 2 or 3 times a week. If it's a compound lift, try to keep the ranges somewhere between 6 and 9 reps. I like 8 reps for some reason. 8 to me is just like the perfect rep. So you want to try to slow the weight down as slow as possible to tire the muscle out before 8 reps. Okay, 3 sets for compound lifts, 5 sets if you're using machines. Because with machines, there's a fail safe. You can just let the weight go. So you can do 5 sets and try to go for 8 reps as well. And the machine gonna add some resistance as well, especially if it's a cable machine. Okay, and go from there. And then take 2 or 3 days in between training cycles. Make sure you get enough protein, hydration, and rest, and watch your chest start to grow. No half repping, no ego lifting, um, no overdoing it on the chest, because if you do too much, then you can find yourself regression. You can damage your muscle to where atrophy. Too much inflammation can cause atrophy. You can damage the muscle tissue by doing that. So to ease into it, build up a tolerance. I can train my chest 4 days a week, and I do that like every 3 or 4 weeks. I do a 4-day session where I hit the chest. I do just straight upper for a session, then I do flat for a session, then I take a day off, then I go back, and then I'll do neutral, the whole chest, and then that last session I just mainly do flies to stretch the chest, and then I'm cutting the volume down, but I'm increasing the weight, so I won't overwork the joints, and the elbow and the shoulder joints. See what I'm saying? So anyway, that's my advice on chest. Hope it helps you grow. Understanding fibers, understanding tissue, understanding that time under tension is the most important thing in any movement. Once you get that and understand that, contractile force is good too, but that's for explosive strength training. And honestly, the bigger that muscle get, the more explosive it can be if you train a hard contraction. But when you're trying to build muscle, you don't have to worry about trying to do that. Just focus on time under tension. Slow and control down. That's tearing the fibers. 1, 2, return. That doing this is going to help you recruit more muscles, more of a stimulus to the muscle to recruit more fibers, you'll get more tears. The chest will start to grow. So hope this helps. I am your personal trainer, Savar Matner. Until next video, you guys stay safe. I'm everyone. Peace.